Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our next webinar with Elixir Live. Today, we're going to be talking about health and wellness. But before we start, I kindly request everyone to turn on their captions and select the language that they would like the captions to be displayed in. We will first be having a guest speaker today, Sergey from Russia, who would like to tell their story about their own experiences regarding Elixir. Hello, Sergey. So we would like to know more about who you are, what led you to your situation that you're currently in, and basically what your story is.
Окей. Привет, меня зовут Сергей, мне 49 лет, я из России. И так получилось, что примерно 10 лет назад я потерял деньги, которые не принадлежат мне. Мне пришлось взять в долг и взять кредиты в банках, чтобы вернуть их. В дальнейшем я пытался разными способами заработать и выплатить долги. У меня была небольшая фирма, а также я занимался фрилансом. Но сперва началась пандемия, а затем военные действия на Украине в 2022 году. У меня было много заказов из-за рубежа до этого, но они прекратились. Мои доходы очень упали, и я уже не смог выплачивать кредиты. Я перестал платить по кредитам примерно летом 2022 года. С осени 2022 года банки стали подавать на меня в суд. К тому времени я работал рабочим и охранником. Мои счета и банковские карты теперь арестованы судебными приставами. Мои долги перед банками и людьми, помогающими мне, сейчас составляют примерно 33 тысячи долларов. Мне оставляют на жизнь около 200 долларов в месяц, а все остальные деньги забирают. Из-за того, что я должен банкам, теперь меня уволили и с работы охранником. И теперь мой доход составляет всего около 300 долларов в месяц, из которых мне оставляют только 200. Также в будущем судебные приставы могут попробовать забрать какое-то мое имущество. Меня уже посещали мысли о самоубийстве, но пока, по милости Бога и сочувствующих мне людей, я продолжаю жить. Очень тяжело жить, когда не знаешь, что тебя ждет на следующий день. Это постоянные стрессы и тревожное чувство при каждом стуке в дверь или звонке телефона. Я не знаю, сможет ли мне как-то помочь аудитория, слушателей здесь финансово или возможностью заработать. У меня нет особых достоинств и квалификации, но я был бы очень благодарен за любую помощь и поддержку. Maybe translate?
So, Sergey is 49 years old and is from Russia. It so happened that about 10 years ago, he lost money that did not belong to him. He had to borrow from the bank to pay them back. He tried to earn the money back to pay off the debt in various ways. He had a small company and was also part of freelancing. But the first pandemic began and the military actions and the war between Ukraine and Russia started. Before all of this, Sergey had a lot of orders from abroad, but all of that stopped. His income also dropped and he was unable to pay the loans. Since the summer of 2022, he stopped paying the loans. Since fall 2022, banks have been suing him, and he has been working as a security guard since then. Right now, his accounts and bank cards have been seized by the banks, and his debts to people amount to approximately $33,000. The banks leave him about $200 a month to live on, and rest of the money is taken away. Due to the fact that he owes the bank's money, he has been fired from his job as a security guard, and his income currently is only $300 a month, and of which only $200 are left for him to live on. In the future, the banks may try to take some of his property, and Sergey has already had thoughts of suicide, but for now, by the grace of God and the community and people who sympathize with him, he is able to live. It's very hard to live if you don't know what is going to happen the next day. This constant stress and anxiety, feeling it every side and every knock on the door, it's a very difficult situation to be in. Sergey, please continue.
Также мне бы хотелось упомянуть еще один очень важный момент в моей жизни, который, как мне кажется, стал поворотной вехой. Я на протяжении более 30 лет исповедовал доктрину вайшнавизма, следовал принципам и повторял мантры. Но, к моему удивлению, моя жизнь становилась все тяжелее. Испытания и трудности часто приходили в мою жизнь. Мой сын родился инвалидом по слуху, а в дальнейшем повредил спину. У моей дочери обнаружили камни в желчном пузыре. Она много раз теряла сознание, а теперь ей придется удалять полностью желчный пузырь. У меня очень тяжелые отношения с моей женой, у нее тяжелый характер и не всегда подобающее поведение. Все это я приписывал своей плохой карме. Я обращался к известному астрологу, ясновидцу из Индии. И он мне предсказал, что с лета 2022 года моя жизнь начнет меняться к лучшему. Но к середине лета я полностью утратил веру во все, и руки мои опустились. Однажды в одном из чатов я увидел предложение о переводе одной религиозной книги на русский язык. Я заинтересовался и принял этот заказ. Оказалось, что это книга святой личности Сантрампала Махараджа. В процессе перевода я узнал многие факты и истории, которые изменили мое отношение к миру и происходящему в нем. Это и общение с его последователями отсрочило мои мысли оставить этот мир. Я попросил разрешения получить посвящение у этого святого гуру, и мне была оказана такая милость. В тот день, когда я получил посвящение во вторую мантру, я испытывал необыкновенную легкость на сердце, спокойствие и умиротворение, и, как мне кажется, какие-то положительные знаки стали приходить в мою жизнь. Мне частично помогли финансово, что спасло меня в тот момент. И я думаю, возможно, что все происходящее ранее было планом Бога, чтобы привести меня сюда и познакомить с вами. У меня немного замкнутый характер, и прежде я никогда не выступал ни перед кем с такими обращениями. Простите меня, что я излил свою душу вам и рассказал о своих проблемах. Для меня это тяжелый шаг. Translate.
And Sergey would also like to mention one very important moment in his life, which for him became a turning point. For more than 30 years, he's been practicing the sect of Vaishnavism, following the principles and chanting the mantras. But to his surprise, his life was getting harder. Trials and difficulties often came into his life. His son was born with a hearing disability and later injured his back. His daughter was found to have gallstones. She lost consciousness many times, and now she will have to remove the gallbladder completely. Sergey has a very difficult relationship with his wife. She has a very a difficult character and not always appropriate behavior. He attributed all of this to his bad karma. He turned to a famous astrologer, clairvoyant from India, and he predicted that Sergey, from the summer of 2022, his life will begin to change for the better. But by the middle of summer, he had completely lost faith in everything and his hands dropped. Once in one of the chats, he saw a proposal to translate a religious book into Russian. He was interested and accepted the offer. It turned out to be the holy book of Saint Rampalji Maharaj. In the process of translation, he learned many facts and stories that changed his attitude to the world and what is happening. This communication and his followers delayed his thoughts of leaving this world and committing suicide. He asked permission to receive initiation from Saint Rampalji Maharaj, and he was granted with grace. On the day that he received the initiation into the second mantra, he experienced unconfined lightness of heart, calmness, and peace. And it seemed to him that some positive signs began to come into his life. He was helped partially financially, which saved him at the moment. And it's possible that everything that happened earlier was God's plan to bring him here and introduce him to everyone. Sergey has a bit of a closed character and has never spoken this story with anyone before this. I would like to now show you the screen regarding the books Sergey is talking about.
И в качестве ученика я должен сказать что-то о моем Гуруджи. В своих книгах, таких как Гьян Ганга, он дает информацию и ее толкование в том виде, что не встречались мне прежде. У него нет какого-то узкого сектантского видения. Он видит мир и его происхождение во вселенских масштабах и объясняет все это, ссылаясь на священные писания и мнения предшествующих святых. Он легко цитирует тексты и стихи из писаний главнейших религий мира и обобщает все это знание. Он указывает на отклонение от истинного знания и в чем неправы другие проповедники. Please translate.
As a disciple of Saint Rampalji Maharaj, he has to say something about his Guruji. In the books such as Gyan Ganga, he gives information and its interpretation in a way that he has not met before. He does not have a narrow sectarian vision, and he sees the world in its original and universal scale, and explains all this by referring to the scriptures and the opinion of preceding saints. He easily quotes texts and verses from the writings of the main religions of the world and summarizes all this knowledge. He points out deviations from true knowledge and what other preachers are wrong about. So these are the books by Saint Rampalji Maharaj. If you would like to read them, you can scan this QR code and get the ebook free of cost. He talks about God with evidence from various scriptures from around the religion, explains creation of nature, how we originated, and takes a general viewpoint of humanity. It's not targeted towards any specific religion. He gives real-life examples, explains who we souls are and why are we here on earth, and what is the correct way of worship, and who is the creator. He has a famous saying that our race is living being, humanity is a religion. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, there is no separate religion. Что-то вы хотите сказать еще?
Ну, вроде все, что я хотел сказать.
So, If you would like to help out Sergey through Elixir, please visit asia.missionelixir.com and buy any garment or product from there. It will contribute towards saving Sergey's life. If there is any input from anyone who would like to extend a helping hand, please let us know at contact@missionelixir.com. Sergey, еще что-то есть сказать?
Thank you.
Okay. Очень доброго вам для этого speech, your story. Thank you very much for telling your story. And we started Elixir initially in an attempt to help out Sergey. And this is how Elixir grew to become what it is right now. Thank you very much, Sergey, for your time and your speech. We would now like to proceed to talking about naturopathy, health and wellness. So Elixir also conducts health and fitness courses and sessions, and naturopathy, and we conduct research and development into naturopathy and advanced healing systems. This specific webinar is going to focus on these aspects. So firstly, I'd like to talk about Healing Elixir and what it stands for. So Mission Elixir has these three hearts that if the individual can't express what they are feeling inside, they can simply wear a heart shirt. And to the corresponding heart, we have Life Elixir, Healing Elixir, and Love Elixir. And it tells the world and all of the Elixir team, the superheroes that we call ourselves there, how to help out that specific individual. If it's Healing Elixir, it tells us that the affected individual has a disease or a physical problem that affects their quality of life and they need help. Sometimes we're stuck in chronic pain or disease that impacts our quality of life. And Healing Elixir seeks to improve the quality of life of the affected individuals and possibly provide a lasting cure. So naturopathy takes into account healing of a whole individual, their body, mind, spirit, emotions, and basically mental health as well. So some of the things that we will be talking about today, they are: what is naturopathy? What are its origins? What does it involve? How to heal fully, wholly? Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, and how can naturopathy actually heal any individual? So Hippocrates was one of the founders of naturopathy, and he said, let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. Naturopathy, as compared to allopathy, takes a whole person healing approach using herbs and ancient healing methodologies. Naturopathy and healing systems such as Ayurveda have the potential to cure an individual wholly, whereas allopathy takes a symptom by symptom approach. Naturopathy, on the contrary, tackles the whole being while healing. Hippocrates started the concept of naturopathic medicine 2,400 years ago. He was a Greek physician who lived from 1460 to 370 BCE and is traditionally known as the father of medicine. So there are many aspects to holistic healing. It may be physical, mental, social. When it's physical, it's sort of takes into encompasses our physical bodies, the environment around us, based on the approach that our physical health is determined by our lifestyle choices, diet, and exercise. while mental focuses on mental well-being and includes our thoughts, emotions, behaviors. Its main agenda is to help us achieve a sense of balance and well-being. In the social aspect, it involves, looks at our relationships with others and what role they play in our lives. It emphasizes the importance of having healthy relationships and overall health and well-being. So some of the tips that we have is to get involved. There are a variety of clubs and that are organized on campus, and you're bound to find something that interests you. Know who your best friends are, recognize when you are in an unhealthy relationship, balance your social life with your academic responsibility. Then there is spiritual and emotional. And when it comes to spirituality, it's about connecting with something larger than ourselves. It could be through religion, it could be through religious practices that help us find meaning and purpose in life. As Sergey had just discussed in the beginning about reading those books and how his life transformed once he took initiation from Saint Rampalji Maharaj. It's an aspect to consider on there are various viewpoints on spirituality in the world. When it comes to emotional well-being, emotionally healthy individuals tend to have strong and healthy coping skills that help them in testing and trying circumstances, practicing meditation and relaxation techniques, spending time with friends, and finding time for hobbies. Emotional wellness is a dynamic state that fluctuates frequently with other 6 dimensions of wellness. Being emotionally well is typically defined as possessing the ability to feel and express human emotions, such as happiness, sadness, and anger. It means having the ability to love and be loved and achieving a sense of fulfillment in life. Emotional wellness encompasses optimism, self-esteem, self-acceptance, and the ability to share feelings. So if we move on to the physical aspect, regular physical activity is one of the most important things we can do for your health. Being physically active can improve your brain health, help manage weight, reduce the risk of disease, strengthen bones and muscles, and improve your ability to do everyday activities. You know, when maybe it may be something like you wanting to lose weight, gain weight, be muscular, anything related to that. Make that one of your goals for the next 6 months. And every month set a certain target that you want to achieve this much weight loss or gain, whichever target you're trying to achieve, and try to take steps towards it. Healthy food does not only impact our physical health, but also our mental health. When we intake healthy fruits and vegetables that are full of nutrients, we reduce the chances of disease. The vegetarian diet is the best due to various reasons. And a nutrient-rich diet can promote mental and physical health. You know, have you ever known someone who becomes hyper after eating fruits? That's actually because of the vitamins and electrolytes that are present in fruit. We get dehydrated very quickly in today's time, and replenishing those nutrients, we feel energized. I'd like to play a short video on vegetarianism.
Vegetarianism. Ever felt tired every so often, but you don't know where is this coming from? You tend to work out and regulate everything in your life, from sleeping to your mental health, but you always seem to be tired. Let me help you discover the secret of why you always feel tired and unproductive. It's simply your diet. What you eat defines your body and your energy. Let's imagine you own 2 plants, and you're watering one of them water and the other one with some other liquid that the plant could maybe absorb, even if it's not good for it. The question is, will this result in both plants growing up to be the same? Well, I guess you have your answer. Now let's look at one of the best diets to follow, the vegetarian diet. Vegetarianism is the theory or practice of living on vegetables and cutting off all meat products. This includes all seafood, chicken, and any type of beef. However, what makes vegetarianism different than veganism is that when you are vegetarian, you're able to consume animal products like dairy. The goal of vegetarianism is a healthier life along with ethical and environmental reasons, such as not harming animals and reducing the pollution that comes out of the agriculture industries. Now let's jump to the benefits of vegetarianism. If you're able to manage a balanced vegetarian diet, you would be on the road to many health benefits. These benefits include helping you keep your weight regulated and experience better blood sugar control, along with a decreased risk of heart disease and a lower risk of getting some type of cancer. There are many more benefits that we could talk about in upcoming content. Recent studies show that people who are vegetarian tend to age slower than non-vegetarian, and people whose diet is more vegetable-based tend to have fewer wrinkles with age. Compared to meat eaters, vegetarians tend to consume less saturated fats and cholesterol, and they have more vitamin C and E, along with folic acid, which helps the body in making healthy red blood cells and treating a deficiency of anemia. Ethical vegetarians believe that killing an animal is like killing a human, especially one who has equal or lesser cognitive abilities than the animal in question. It can only be justified in extreme circumstances, and that consuming a living creature for its enjoyable taste, convenience, or nutrition value is not a sufficient cause. Another common view is that humans are morally conscious of their behavior in a way that other animals are not, and therefore subject to higher standards. Opponents of ethical vegetarianism argue that animals are not moral equals to humans, and so consider the comparison of eating livestock with killing people to be fallacious. This view does not excuse cruelty, but maintains that animals do not possess the same rights humans have. Well, at the end of the day, vegetarianism is a choice, and so is eating meat. You may choose a vegetarian diet for health reasons or for ethical reasons. However, you have nothing to lose if you give it a try and maybe realize it was the solution for your problem. And if it doesn't, then you gave something new a try.
So that was the aspects of a vegetarian diet and what are the benefits and aspects to becoming a vegetarian. It's entirely your choice of what diet to follow, but that's something you may want to try out. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence throughout adulthood. And some signs of emotional wellness include that you're comfortable with who you are, you're adaptable and resilient, you have positive relationships with people in your life, you have a sense of purpose, you take care of your physical health, you're comfortable saying no, and you make time to relax as well. So emotional health allows us to work productively and cope with the stresses of everyday life. It can help you realize your full potential. It helps you work with other people and contribute to society. It also affects our physical health. So there are 4 pillars when it comes to mental fitness. The 4 pillars being emotional, social, financial, and physical. So when a person feels appreciated, they will always do more than what is expected. Could be ambition, it could be your studies, it could be a job, anything related to this. And what mental fitness is, there are 4 components. Cardiovascular, in terms of physical fitness, there's cardiovascular, endurance, strength, flexibility, and a healthy weight. When it comes to emotional, these include self-acceptance, self-esteem, resilience, and ability to manage strong emotions. In the social aspect, friends are important because they bring companionship, support, and enrichment to our lives. According to the Mayo Clinic, people who have friends are generally physically and emotionally healthier and enjoy better quality of life. In the financial aspects, According to a 2016 study, 40% of us experience stress due to money issues, often enough to negatively affect our work and relationships. Financial wellness is not about having a certain amount of money at your disposal. It's about feeling in control of your finances, being able to handle financial setbacks, and being on track to achieve your financial and life goals. In the physical aspect, mental and physical fitness and health are intertwined. You can improve both through a healthy diet, regular exercise, and enough sleep. You can also reduce your risk of developing chronic illnesses such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and depression. Social wellness refers to the relationships that we have and how we interact with others. Our relationships can offer support during difficult times. Social wellness involves building healthy, nurturing, and supportive relationships, as well as fostering a genuine connection with those around you. So now I would like to talk about Ayurveda, the healing system, also known as the science of life. It's considered by many scholars to be the oldest healing science. In Sanskrit, Ayurveda means the science of life. And this knowledge originated from India more than 5,000 years ago and is often called the mother of healing. The concepts of universal interconnectedness, the body's constitution, prakriti, and life forces, doshas, are the primary basis of Ayurvedic medicine. The goals of treatment aid the person by eliminating impurities, reducing symptoms, increasing resilience to disease, reducing worry, and increasing harmony in life. Herbs and other plants, including oils and common spices, are used extensively in Ayurvedic treatment. Doshas are the basis of diagnosing an individual. Each individual has a specific constitution, but as we age and go through stressors, deviates creating disease in our bodies and eventually affecting our mental health, our physical health, and many other aspects. Ayurveda seeks to return that constitution for balance within our body, mind, and soul to heal us. So there's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. These can be identified. Maybe some of you have actually been to an Ayurvedic doctor here, and they use the pulse, the tongue, or just by sight to diagnose the individual and see what are the imbalances there. So here in this image, we can see a practitioner trying to understand the constitution of the patient. When the pulse, they feel the pulse and they can tell how much is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and what is the original constitution of that person. So there's a tip of the week that we would like to give you. There are studies that suggest honey might offer antidepressant, anti-convulsant, and anti-anxiety benefits, to name a few. Honey has been shown to prevent memory disorders, wound care, and can even cure cancer. It's been used in various things from food products to medical scenarios, and also in terms of, medicines, ointments, and things. But it really depends how this honey is manufactured. So here are some of the types of honeys that are available around the world. For example, there's Black Forest honey, and this is very effective for improving the immune system, and it treats digestive issues. There's lavender honey, which is good for brain work and nervous system, has strong antibacterial, antifungal properties. It's harvested in South France. There's acacia honey, which has low glucose, and it's suitable for diabetic patients. Oak tree honey, which is a natural aphrodisiac, helps for digestive issues. It reduces blood pressure and useful for anemia treatment. It's also good for bones and teeth. There's Manuka honey, which is the most expensive of all of these honeys. It's from New Zealand. It has strong antibacterial and antiviral properties, the strongest honey in the world. Then there's thyme honey that relieves coughs, helps to clear mucus from the lungs. It's made from za'atar flowers. There's orange blossom honey, which boosts immunity, reducing the risk of cardiovascular diseases, and also has antibacterial properties. Then Kaluna heather honey. It has very strong antibacterial properties, antivirus properties, and is comparable to Manuka honey. You can get all of these honeys online from various stores, and this would also be available on our website, missionelixir.com. And if you are within Asia, then asia.missionelixir.com. If you would like to take a natural approach towards getting on top of your health and becoming, the best you can be, then this is something that you may want to consider. Another thing that we want to discuss is that we would be starting a cloud kitchen service starting in New Delhi initially, in collaboration with Silver 7. And this specific restaurant would focus on all of these healthy diets and basically healing through food medicine. This should be available soon, within a month or two. So please stay tuned if you are in New Delhi and you may want to order food here just to try it out. And another venture that we are looking at is called Purple Fruit. It's an alcohol-free bar, which is also made in collaboration with Silver 7. This encompasses natural fruit juices and basically smoothies, many different types of recipes. And these are also designed to mentally uplift the person as well as heal them from within. So that's the presentation regarding naturopathy in today's session. If you have any questions, please do let us know. Let's see if we can. If you have any questions, please do write them down in the chat right now. I'll be happy to answer them. And one more thing, that if you would like to be part of Mission Elixir, yes, Shivam, would you like to send a message? Shivam, please write down your question in the question and answers. So the right motto for Elixir. So what we started off with, it was be a superhero, save a life. And this was because we were inspired by Sergey's story. And we set out to become superheroes that we can extend a helping hand to him. If you would like to join Mission Elixir and volunteer, please do apply online. We would love to have you on board. If you would like to buy any garment, we're a not-for-profit organization, and all of the profits that are gained from the sales, we reinvest into Mission Elixir. And we are still determined on our goal to gathering that amount for Sergey to take the pressure off the banks for him. Are there any other questions you would like to ask? You can join our missions by visiting missionelixir.com and clicking the volunteer link. Alternatively, you can email us at contact@missionelixir.com. How do you stay calm during tense situations? That's It all depends what that situation is. It could be going out for a walk. It could be listening to music. It could be watching a movie. It's basically diverting the mind to something that calms you. It could be different things for various different people. If you like, you can try out lavender honey, which is extremely calming. That is something that, how did I achieve so much at a young age? Well, I'm 26 and I graduated from university 2 years ago, and this was something that was one of my goals and dreams. So I just set out to do all of these things, and by the grace of God, we were able to make them reality. If you do want to build your own venture or anything, you can also contact Silver 7, which is a venture builder. Though, in regards to Mission Elixir, if you would like to join our mission, please do come on board. We welcome everyone from anywhere around the world. We welcome diversity. Are there any other questions? I graduated from a university in the UK named Regis. So I did my university in London. Are there any other questions? If anybody here also requires a helping hand, please do reach out to Mission Elixir and we will be happy to provide personal development coaching, or maybe even any situation you may have in your life and you can't find the solution to it. Do reach out to us and we will extend a helping hand. Are there any other questions? There's also an event named the Celebration of Life that we will be having at the end of April. And it's a 2-day event. The first day we have live talk speakers from various different industries and missions, they're trying to create social impact. Also an awards night. And on the second day, we are having a concert with possibly Arman Malik there. Also various different artists, emerging and celebrity, who are going to be there. So tickets will be live soon. If you'd like to attend that specific event, please do. The event is on 29th and 30th of April. We will market everything, and all of the attendees that are here, if you subscribe to our newsletter, or we'll send you, maybe we can send you a discount to attend this specific event, since you're part of this webinar. Are there any other questions? You can subscribe to our newsletter from our website, asia.missionelixir.com. Else, you can also send us an email at contact@missionelixir.com saying you want to subscribe to the newsletter, and we will add you to the list. So we would like your feedback on what you think of Mission Elixir, and what can we add to this that would be informative to all of you. Are there any other questions anybody would like to ask? Okay, let's call this webinar a day. And my name is Devansh and part of Mission Elixir. Yes, Aman. So we will definitely, if you'd like to be part of the opening of Purple Fruit, more than welcome. Bring your friends. We'll enjoy life. Thank you, everybody, for attending this Elixir Live webinar. In next week's session, we will talk about, we may have a guest speaker again. So please stay tuned. And this would be every weekend that you can attend this live webinar for information in health and wellness, career, personal development, and many other topics. If you use the same link that you registered for this, you can also register to all of the upcoming webinars. Thank you very much for attending, and we'll see you soon. Be a superhero, save a life.